What's up, everybody? Welcome to a new YouTube video. Today we're going to be comparing and contrasting Teepublic, Zazzle, Cafepress, Redbubble, and I think Spreadshirt as well. So 5 different platforms we're going to be talking about, and let's go ahead and jump right in. So I'm going to show each website first, so just so you can know for context. Some of you guys watching, I'm assuming that maybe you upload on some of these, maybe not all of these, maybe you've had bad experiences with some of them. I know that a lot of people have had bad experiences with certain platforms and they write them off, but I'm going to go ahead and show you guys from a comparison standpoint what makes a difference between these platforms and how important it is to actually understand the difference so that you can essentially serve yourself in the best way. So this is Zazzle. You guys see the UI, the user interface, the buttons, all that kind of stuff. You can upload stuff, you have a trending section, you have my stuff, you can sell gifts, you can explore stuff, just a whole lot of different products that you can check out here with Zazzle. They have brand partnerships, a lot of things you can do here. Here is Spreadshirt. So Spreadshirt is a community very similar to Teepublic in my opinion, almost like a hybrid between Teepublic and Redbubble, where you can upload your own designs, and there are categories here that you can kind of choose from. So what I like to do is I like to select, for example, winter, and you can see here all these different winter designs here, and there's a lot of different designs for all different kinds of products: pajamas, pillowcases, magnets, iPhone case, I mean, you name it, it's there, right? That's Spreadshirt. Here we have Teepublic, which is, like I said, I mentioned this before, you guys have seen this before, but it's one of the bigger platforms out there, and you guys will see this, but it's a very large platform, Teepublic, and we've spoken about this before, and I know a lot of people have complained about this company. Maybe they took their store down or some things like that, and I believe that's completely possible. The next one we have is Cafepress, which I'm going to say is a little bit neglected. I don't think a lot of people talk about Cafepress. Definitely makes some money here and there, so it's definitely one of those options that you can go ahead and jump into, and competition is not as high right now in 2022, so if Cafepress is something you're looking at, give it a shot. The next one, of course, is Redbubble. So Redbubble, we talk about Redbubble a lot here. With the Redbubble courses, the Redbubble videos, we do a lot about Redbubble. And Redbubble is one of those things where it's trending right now, but it's actually going downward, the trend. And you guys will see this, but Redbubble is a huge platform, and they've been around for a while now, 15 years. So let's go ahead and take a look now at the comparison between these platforms. Okay, and this is actually pretty interesting. Is here we have Google Trends, and mind you guys, this is not only for designers but for consumers as well. Google Trends is going to take the data, the search data, for Teepublic, for Redbubble, for Zazzle, for all these kind of stuff, and equate it to a number out of 100, right? And the top one in this case would be Redbubble. You could see here it is Redbubble based on the average. The second is Zazzle. The next one is Teepublic. The next one is Cafepress. The next one is Spreadshirt. So Spreadshirt and Cafepress are almost the same. Probably, they're a little bit opposite in terms of months. So for example, if you have a low day in terms of Spreadshirt, you might have a high day in Cafepress. If you have a low day in Cafepress, you might have a high day in Spreadshirt. Now, that's obviously not a guarantee. We all know that, but you could see here how they kind of overlap, but in opposite kind of ways here in terms of these two platforms. Now, comparing and contrasting these two is actually pretty cool, because we get to understand the magnitude of some of these platforms and why we should focus on selling on different, on different platforms. And this is, and I know there's a lot of problems with people saying, how can I upload to these different platforms? Don't worry, we'll talk about all that. We'll make videos on all that, and I'll explain that, but let's just go ahead and assess this here. So we have the top two, which kind of like are on their own here, which is Redbubble and Zazzle, and they're fighting between each other. And I want you guys to see something though. This is throughout the period of a year, but look at before a year, right? If we go over here and show the past 5 years, look at the comparison between Teepublic and Zazzle. Redbubble and Zazzle. Okay, very, very different here. You could see here Redbubble and Zazzle are almost the same in the past roughly 12 months, but before that, they were not the same whatsoever. In fact, that was the case for the past few years before that too. So starting from like 2017 on, and you could see the huge difference between the two. Maybe I can actually zoom in here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so zooming in is not really gonna work, but you guys can see hopefully what I'm talking about here, this huge gap, right? Like, look at, for example, on the date of in November, look at this huge gap. Look at also this huge gap here. And really, there's a few reasons behind this, but guys, other platforms are growing. Redbubble is not the only platform out there. And the cool thing is that there's always going to be places as artists for us to use, to utilize, and things like that. But what we do need is we need early mover advantage. I've spoken about Teepublic before, but I've said this about Teepublic, where there's gonna be a point in time where they start reaching the Redbubble and the Zazzle, the community, in terms of growth. Essentially, Teepublic is now where Redbubble was 7 years ago, right? 8 years ago, and it's before it hit that really big peak to move forward. Because if I just go over here and just remove all of this, or not even remove, let's just go ahead and go on Google Trends and just type in, let's go ahead and type in here Teepublic, right? And we just go here for, let's say, the past 5 years. Okay, you can see here it's slow. It's a slow growth upward. It's not like a straight line. It's up and down, up and down, up and down. But you can see here the trend overall is moving upward. And then you have a few of these big shocks, like these big jumps, right? And you have this big jump here. You have this big jump here, big jump here. A little bit goes down, but still big jumps, and it's going up. So now what we see is these big jumps are more frequent, right, over time than here. They're more frequent, but they're also larger, and it's slowly, gradually growing the account, the Teepublic platform. So if I was to jump on a whiteboard and I was just illustrate this, okay, let me go ahead and show you guys what I'm talking about. It's going like this, right? But it's slowly moving forward, and when it gets to a certain point here, a point of inflection, it's going to shoot up. Now this is exactly what we've seen happen with Redbubble, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about with Redbubble. This is why I mentioned a video a little while ago, maybe about a year ago or something like that, where I mentioned how Redbubble, there you go, look at that. Look at over the past, from 2004 on, look at how Redbubble shot upwards, right? And like I said, Redbubble is in terms of trend is moving downward a little bit in terms of search volume, things like that. But that's only because of the existence of other platforms. You can see here, look how things are moving up. Now, the more people talk about Redbubble, the more people talk about Zazzle, the more people talk about all these different platforms, the more competition there's going to be. So you want to hop on these platforms ASAP. If this is something that you want to get in on, you want to get in on as fast as possible. Now, something that you're going to realize if you spend your time focusing on Cafepress and Teepublic, the money isn't going to come right away. The money is going to come later down the road in terms of years. And we're talking about serious money. We're not talking about $200 or $500. We're talking about full-time incomes, passive incomes, things like that. So let's say, for example, your design that you create, let's say you create 1,000 designs on whatever platform. Let's say Teepublic, right? You create 1,000 designs. Those 1,000 designs are going to be much more valuable in terms of financially worth 5 years from now than right now on a platform like Teepublic, because it hasn't reached that growth point, that growth spurt, right? Let's just go ahead and compare here Teepublic to Redbubble. You can see the difference. There is nowhere near the same. That's why I say over here where Teepublic is just about like right here. You're looking at a period of another, 8 years before we get there, because this is like 2014, the end of 2013, right? From then on, it's a long time. It's a long time. We're in 2022 now. So, like I said, it's about 8-year difference right now. It's 8 years before Teepublic shoots up and becomes where Redbubble was. And you could just imagine the magnitude that Redbubble is right now, the size, right? The 30 million visits a month, easily. like I said, your 1,000, designs or whatever it is much more valuable later down the road in 5 years, 6 years, 10 years. So what I'm trying to say is that if you're contemplating on jumping on these smaller platforms, the Cafepress, the Teepublic, you're gonna get sales, but it's not gonna be anywhere near the sales of the Redbubble and the Zazzle and things like that. But that's based on search volume, right? Obviously, you could have a one-off design that for some reason you get a lot of sales on that. Of course, that's always the case. That always happens. There's always cases like that where there's outliers. But we're gonna talk for the obvious majority here, and the charts kind of show that, is that in terms of sales, sales right now, you can get them from Redbubble. I've spoken about this before, but it's kind of easy to get sales on Redbubble. As long as you're doing kind of, the right titling, the right tagging, right, which is going to give you sales later down the road, because people are going to search or through organic find you. If you're promoting, if you have a decent design, it's not that hard to get sales. Where it gets hard now is if you're putting your faith in these smaller platforms to change your paycheck around right now. It's not going to right now. That's the thing. Is these companies are, I would say, they're small right now, very, very small compared to the other conglomerates. So something you want to be aware of is, okay, you know that you're posting on these other platforms. I might not make money from this design for 6 to 8 to 10 months. I might not make money from this design in a year, but in 3 years, in 5 years, in 7 years, this design is going to be much more valuable. And instead of it making me 1 or 2 sales a year, it could make me 50, 60, 100 sales a year just off that one design. And at the end of the day, guys, there's no shame in working hard. A lot of people will try to kind of push back on that, and they'll say, well, I'm not going to do something that it doesn't pay me right away and all that. And I say, great, but what are you doing and planning for the future? It's cool to make money now. It's cool. It's really, it's fun. But there's different ways around this. Now let's talk about how to actually get this all done. And don't worry, guys, I'm going to set up a tutorial in the future, and I'm going to set it up on the new channel. So I want to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. There's a website here called 𝗘𝗫𝗦𝗑𝗧.com. I do have an affiliate link. I will leave it in the description box down below if you're interested. But more important than the affiliate link is the discount code. You can get 20% off this tool, and this tool is going to help you automate the process where you upload to a lot of these platforms at once. Spreadshirt, all these different platforms. So if this is something that you're interested in, I will have a tutorial. It makes it easier to upload. There's another software that I will do a tutorial on as well for other people that decide to go that route as well. So I'm gonna have a lot of tutorials. The tutorials are gonna be on this channel. So let me just type it in: DIY income tutorials. You guys can search it on YouTube and just click on this one right here. So far we have 3 videos, and what we're going to do is we're going to create more tutorial videos, step-by-step videos on this channel, the DIY income tutorial. So I recommend you check it out. Subscribe there, because we're doing all kinds of tutorials. They might be print on demand, they might be I'm actually going to show how to create applications, games, and get paid from them, and it's actually a really good income source. You'd be surprised. But for your Apples, for the Apple Store, for the Android Store, without actually doing any coding, things like that, I'm gonna show we're gonna do some KDP stuff. We're gonna do some just the back end tutorial stuff. We're gonna go deep in automation as well. We're gonna go deep in Instagram automation, just a whole lot of cool fun stuff that I can't necessarily put in videos like this, because if I put a whole tutorial in a video like this, a lot of people would click off just because it's not the fancy stuff. You guys get what I'm saying? So this tutorial, this YouTube channel is the behind the scenes, the step-by-step, the click this, click that, the walkthroughs. If that's something you're interested in, go ahead and subscribe. Check out the new channel, DIY income tutorials. I do have a few Shopify guides that I'll be adding on there as well. We're going to be adding a whole bunch of different cool things. We're going to be creating websites, print-on-demand websites, using Shopify, print. We're going to do everything, basically. So if you have a request, go on that channel, leave the request, say, I want to see this, I want to see X, Y, Z, and we're going to jump into that. But I'm going to do live tutorials if you guys are interested on posting a design on all these different platforms at once, how it works, how to utilize the software, and this is the software that I'm using. So if you want to work with this software, I actually made a video on this software yesterday, and I showed how it's not just a automation tool to upload, but you could do keyword research, you could do you could actually do built-in designing. I didn't do that yesterday, but you can design built-in. You could do, there's a lot of things you could do. Product research, I'm huge on that. I've actually shown that a little bit yesterday. You guys could check that out as well. It's all in the video. So if you guys have any questions on this and you want to actually see me upload to multiple different platforms, go ahead and subscribe to that channel. I'll leave this link in the description box down below for the channel. All right, DIY income tutorials, or you could just search it on YouTube. I mean, it's effectively the same thing, but that's all I got to say for today's video, and I'll talk to you guys later. All right, peace out, bye.